Hello! Welcome to another...
The English Couple.
Yes, welcome back to the channel. Nice to see you. Hope you had a lovely...
Christmas and Boxing Day.
And that you're going to have a good new year. But you never know. We may get another video out before the new year.
Touch wood. There's a wooden thing there.
There's a wooden...
The coffee table mentioned in another video.
Yes.
On another channel.
Well, we've had a lovely Christmas, haven't we not?
Yes.
Yes.
We have. A very quiet one.
And I think, because we've opened up this new channel, we've launched,
Yeah.
yes, there you go.
Yep.
I think that we've got all the old content up now, haven't we? More or less, give
I
or
think
take.
there's one or two, but...
Yeah, we're a bit worried about releasing
Yeah,
some of
we
the
do.
early stuff. So hopefully for those people who've been going, oh, come on, get us some new content, here it is. Here
Nothing
it
but
is.
new stuff from now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so don't forget to follow, like and subscribe if you find the slightest part of this remotely interesting.
Entertaining in some way.
So, yes, now, in today's one, Christmas is one of those times when, the family get together, don't they? And we've seen your family.
Yeah.
And they switch on the television and invariably you've had a few drinks, you've had a few mince pies and all of that. You've gobbled up the turkey, although the turkey's gone gobble gobble. And you end up sitting back and you watch a film.
Yep.
So we thought
Yes, we
we
did.
would talk about some films. So we challenged ourselves. Well, not really a challenge, have we?
Well, I found it a bit of a challenge, but
Oh, did you?
That's me.
I suggested we'd tell you about 10 films that for one reason or another, they are, important, or they have a theme.
Have
impact us, or there's some reason for them.
Impacted.
And Julia's made a list of 5 films. I've made a list of 5 films. Sorry.
I was going to say, I thought it was 5 each.
Yeah.
I thought
No,
you meant 10 each for a second.
No.
I'll confess, I have actually put more than 10.
Yes, I could probably, hopefully think on my feet, but it's like turn the camera on. And for our American friends, movies.
Movies.
Because we call them films over here, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. We might have to do an American English and an English
Oh, yeah.
video. So, if you're interested in our take on that, let us know. So we've written them down on bits of paper. We haven't told each other what they are, although I think Julia is going to recognise pretty much all of mine.
Yeah.
Otherwise it would not work very well. So who's going to go first?
You.
Okay, so here's my first choice on... Now, all of mine have a slight British film about them. We're the English couple, but I'm saying British to encapsulate all other nations in Britain, not just England.
Because we are also British, if you didn't know.
Yes.
And we're proud of that too.
Absolutely. So my first film that I've chosen to watch, if I was watching at Christmas time and I wanted to watch something, I always think of, and it used to be put on quite a bit, The Battle of Britain. I think it's 1960 it was made, The Battle of Britain, in which plucky old England plucky old Britain, down on the south and the southeast mostly, were facing Germans' plight. And you'd had the what do you call it when you retreat? The retreat from Dunkirk, and all the little boats and the big boats and all of that. And then we were facing the enemy in 1940, and we will fight them on the beaches and the landing ground. We will fight them on the beach and the landing. Never before has so many by so few watched this film. It's so good. I think that's the paraphrasing of Mr. Churchill.
Maybe a
Anyway.
little.
It's an all-star cast with all sorts of people. Michael Caine, Christopher Plummer, a whole host of people. And I love it. I think it's very patriotic. It's got an amazing score, film score by Ron Goodwin and Sir Walter Walton. Is it Sir Walter Walton? Sir somebody Walton anyway, or David somebody anyway. It doesn't matter. You can look it up. Brilliant, and it's a good family film to watch, and also it's pretty accurate. Although it's consolidated a lot of things down into a short period of time, so it seems. Laurence Olivier is in it as well as Chief Field Marshal Dowding. I may have bastardised his title. Who in and of himself was a remarkable man going against. There's a lot of people who went against the grain or the norm in that period of time, and they brought stuff together. So yeah, Battle of Britain. If you've never seen it, the 1960s film with real Spitfires, real Hurricanes, and I think a few models, but very good for its day. Innovative and grand. Have you ever seen it?
I was about to say, I'm slightly ashamed to say, I don't think I've actually seen it.
I've got a copy. I will show it to you sometime.
Thank you. Very appreciated.
So there we go. That's my number one. What about you?
Well, piffly compared to that.
No, I'm sure. They've all, I mean, they've all got something, haven't they?
Well, you see, I put a list of childhood ones. And I
Yep.
put a list of adulthood ones.
Okay.
Okay, well, What's Eating Gilbert Grape is one of my favourite films.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Yes, it's a very odd title. It's a bit of an odd movie as well.
Now, I have to confess, never seen it.
That doesn't surprise me. It's got Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio. In fact, I think, if I recall correctly, it was Leonardo DiCaprio's breakout film.
Oh, okay.
And
So what's it about?
it's about, well, Johnny Depp plays the lead character, and it's about family. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I
Yeah.
can't remember the details of the plot. But essentially, it's about the struggles of this guy, Gilbert, and his family. His mother's heavily overweight and trapped in the house and things like that. And then his youngest brother, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is he has special needs. And it's about this character's struggle with all of that in this little town in America. But yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, it's brilliant acting. Two of my favourite actors, although Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't think there's much else he's done since that I've enjoyed as much.
He was in the
Titanic.
Titanic. What was it called?
Titanic.
Titanic, wasn't
Let's
he?
not go over the watershed with this.
No. But he was in that film, wasn't he? That's about
Yes.
all I know. Oh, didn't he do another film where he was pretending to be lots of different people and blagging his way through life and ends up as a airline pilot or something? Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
That
He
was
was
it.
also in the Wolf of Wall Street or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think we've seen part of.
We saw it. It was quite,
And then we kind of got-
quite rude. Quite rude for the English couple, I can tell you.
Yes.
So that's a childhood film, would you
Yeah.
say?
Oh, he was also in The Man with an Iron Mask.
Oh.
Which was
I
quite a
read
good
the
film,
original book, The Man in the Iron Mask. That's set in the 18th century, isn't it? If I remember rightly. Is it my go now?
Go on then.
So that was an emotional film for you, an interesting,
yeah.
Right, the second one I have not seen for years, and it's one I hope to see, and I hope to see with you. It's only I've been reading a book about the Duke of Wellington, and I haven't been overly interested in sort of battles and things like that, although I've just talked about the Battle of Britain. And so the second film is Waterloo. And of course, famously, the Duke of Wellington led the British contingent army and defeated Napoleon in the Battle of Waterloo, which brought to the end the Peninsular Wars. And I'm fascinated now to read a whole load more about the Peninsular Wars down in Spain, Portugal and France. And what I like, and you'll see that in some of the choices I've gone for, these are epics. And I know we had a conversation about this before. Before CG was a thing where you needed thousands of extras and people would dress up. And I just think of the production, the costumes, because you're looking, isn't she looking beautiful today, ladies and gentlemen, in this wonderful jacket? But, all that sort of military stuff, the red coats and their hats. And now how accurate it is, I don't really know. I haven't seen Waterloo for a long time. But again, Christopher Plummer, he's the lead in it. And I forget who is Napoleon. But again, it's in the 60s. But the scale, the big widescreen stuff, I love that sort of stuff that's a spectacle that just makes your jaw drop, even if you don't really fully understand what's going on. So my series of films are ones that are very much large scale mostly and British. So that was my number 2. But that's our third choice, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
So what's number 4 on our list?
Which one should I go for? Okay, The Young Victoria.
And that's another one. I meant to ask you. You've not seen Waterloo, have you?
I don't think I have, no.
I've not seen The Young Victoria. This is good because I've not seen them. So yeah.
Yeah, that's got one of my favourite actresses in it, Emily Blunt. who plays the lead role.
I couldn't tell you who she is.
No, you'd probably recognise. Well,
Right.
I don't know actually, because I don't think you've seen anything she's in.
If
'cause
you didn't-
she's in more modern films.
Yes, if you didn't see our earlier video in the series that we've done, we've got the one where does age matter, and it's interesting because our age differences, of course, is affecting our things that we watched at different times in our life. So yeah, Emily Blunt, I don't know who she is. I mean, I might recognise her.
Yeah, I think you might, but I don't know. She's done quite a few things that I like. She voiced a pony in the My Little Pony film that came out a couple of
My
years
Little
back.
Pony.
Shut up.
Be nice to each other. Oh, no, it's a different tune. So what era is
It was filmed
film?
in 2009, I believe.
Right.
It also has Mark Strong in it, which is another one of my favourite actors.
Never heard of him.
Mark Strong. He was in another one that we watched just recently. But
Oh.
I'll yeah.
Tell me it later.
Yes.
Okay.
It's on my list. So it'll
Oh,
be next.
okay. So we'll find out about that. So it's about Victoria, Queen Victoria, when she was younger.
Yes, it's about her childhood and formative years basically, and,
Yeah.
then the start of her kind of career. Sort of
And
thing.
based on reality.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, based on. It's a lovely portrayal of Victoria and Albert and their love story. And
Does she go at any point in the story?
I am not amused.
Because
I
that's
can't
the
remember,
line that
actually.
she's so famous for.
yeah, and I think it's actually slightly wrong, isn't it? 'Cause she
Yeah,
doesn't
but I don't
actually-
think she actually. I think it's
No.
that same thing about Michael Caine. Never said. Not a lot of people know that,
Yeah,
and it's an urban myth.
yeah.
We are not amused.
Yeah, it's quite.
Although Queen Elizabeth did say
My husband and I.
Yeah, that's a given.
she doesn't say that now, of course, for reasons that are bleeding obvious.
Yeah,
So that was a good film.
That was a
and
lovely film.
and you told me when it came out. I've forgotten.
2009.
2009.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Okay. Interesting. So the young. So we've got historical. That's a historical one. Waterloo was historical.
Mm-hmm.
What is the fifth? The fifth film on my list. Now I watched this the other day. Michael Caine's
Mm-hmm.
first breakthrough film. He'd been playing
Oh.
little bit parts. I told you about it the other day. Again, it's another battle film, and it's Zulu. And it's all about the battle at Rorke's Drift. And I'd seen this years ago, and I watched it. Again, it's another epic, lots of people, and the amount of Zulus, who were real Zulus in it. And lots of great actors in the film.
To those who don't know, what's a Zulu?
What's a Zulu? They were a native of Africa. I forget which part of Africa, one of the regions of Africa. And there was what do you call it? A religious outpost that for some reason, and I don't know the full reasons why the British were there. I guess it was part of the empire, defending parts of. They were anyway. They were there as a defence unit, but there was only something like 150 of the men there, and there was something like 4,000 to 5,000 Zulus armed with spears. Now the Zulus in this battle had already killed a bunch of other British, absolutely massacred it at the beginning of the film. So they do have some rifles, but they don't know how to use them. I mean, they can fire them, but they're not very good at aiming. But the film ends off with a standoff, really, with the Zulus, plenty of them left, and just a handful of Brits left, or the British contingent, all on their own in the middle of nowhere. And they kind of acknowledge the Zulus it's not that the British really win at all. The Zulus just sort of go, look, you're very brave, we're going to leave you. At least that's how it finishes in the film. I've sent off for the book because I want to read the book now. Yeah, it's a famous film, and Michael Caine was brilliant in it, but there were plenty of other performers in there who were great. And it's just in all these films, the loss of life is quite
Astounding.
yes, but it's the way that people were just hacked to death as part of the battle, and nobody. I don't know.
Emotive then.
Yes, I don't know. It's that sort of they're just cannon fodder, as if. But individually, of course, they are real people, and you think, golly, if I was in that, you never know the end of the battle because you've just had a spear shoved through. Some of the dying acting is a bit laughable in the way people are speared, because these days the super effects would be so graphic. People are being speared. There's no holes, there's no blood, and they die. And in a rather hammy way. So parts of it are a bit hammy, but if you get past that, it is another classic film. Again, 1960s something, early 60s, I think. So that's my choice. What's that? Number 5, isn't it?
Yeah.
So choice number 6.
Kingsman.
Ah, Kingsman.
Another Colin Firth and another Mark Strong.
So which one was Mark Strong?
Mark Strong was Merlin.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Ah, so this is this was 2000 and
It might have been
2001,
was it
2000.
14?
Oh, 2014.
I think it was
Yeah, that's right.
2014.
Yes. We watched it the other day.
Yeah, I think What's Eating Gilbert Grape was in the 90s. It was filmed, I think.
Oh, okay.
Going back a bit. But yes, The
Longer
Kingsman.
than I imagined, because it was about 2 hours
It
long,
was,
wasn't it?
yeah.
And Colin Firth, for those who,
He's marvellous, isn't he?
he's marvellous in it, but unfortunately halfway through something happens and he's no longer in it, which was a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah.
And again, when I've seen
it's
it
a bit
twice.
of a spoiler there. It's a shocker when that happens.
It is a
isn't
shocker when it
You just
happens.
don't expect it.
Yeah,
So sorry if you haven't seen it.
if you haven't seen it. But
Leave it a while before watching.
I think there are more Kingsman films now.
Oh yes, I think there's another 2.
Oh, right, I
I can't
haven't seen
remember.
that.
I know I've seen at least one of them.
But absolutely, it absorbs you, doesn't it? The whole story. What's interesting about that is that's 2014. They're talking about a virus, and they're talking about implants, and they're talking about a lot of stuff which I'm sort of talking.
It's kind of spooky, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of almost of the day, especially the thing about the internet and how everyone's got a free SIM card and gets the phone and it can affect people. So it was a bit of a forerunner of even a bit like the pandemic in a way, and the theories that people have. So it's quite timely when it came out, what it was about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's right. Okay. And anything else to mention on that?
No, I don't think so.
So my next choice, now this one's often, or has been often on, and people will know this, and I don't know when this is, if this is 60s or late 50s. It might be, again, another 60s film. I just don't know why they're all of the same
Just realised
era.
we didn't really say what Kingsman was about, but never mind.
Oh yeah, what is it about?
Well, it's kind of an English spy movie, a bit Bondish, but more.
Secret Service, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
about a secret service, really, isn't it? Because
When I say
even
Bond-
the government don't seem to know about it.
Yeah.
And yes, it's very it's tongue in cheek in a way,
yes.
because it's so over the top,
Very English gentleman, isn't
but
it?
very
The
absolutely.
personas. When I say Bondish, I meant James Bond.
Yeah, not what
Anything else?
kind of
Oh,
Brooke Bond. Oh, hello.
hang on. I need something to grab that with.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's a bit smoky in here. We just had a bit of a slight emergency there. We had to go to. We've got, you can't see it, but over there's a fire, a nice
A
wood,
wood burning fire.
and we had a candle on in a little ramekin, which we put when the fire's not on. And I lit the fire, and I forgot to move the candle with
I
the
didn't
ramekin.
think to move it either, so.
And suddenly there was a little bit of burning smell, and we turned round. The candle had shrunk, had melted.
And
Into
the
the
ramekins
ramekin.
filled up and started spilling, so.
It had overflowed, and so wax was just laying on the top of the.
Burning off.
Yeah, so it's a little bit misty in here. I don't know if
Sorry
you can
about
see it. And then suddenly we thought, oh my God, if that suddenly.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
So we nearly had an extra film there that was its own mad thing. Right, my next film then, and we better run through these because I didn't realise how long this has been. The Great Escape. Famous film,
that one I think I've seen.
set in Germany, but of course it's prisoner of wars in Germany with Richard Attenborough, Steve McQueen, and a whole bunch of other people. And
That's got a good score, hasn't it?
that's got a great score. I don't know who did that. Yeah,
They want a copyright
that's
strike.
right. And a lot of people will know that one, but it's a classic sort of one that used to be on at Christmas all the time. Certainly in my childhood, I think, growing up as a teenager. I don't know if they still put it on, but fantastic. And the bit that I just always remember, apart from Steve McQueen on his motorbike, which didn't overly impress me because I wasn't into motorbikes, but I know a lot of people loved that bit, and he did his own stunts and stuff. The bit for me was when they are all gathered, having escaped down the Tom, Dick and Harry tunnels, and they're gathered up, Richard Attenborough and a bunch of others, and they're just stopped to have a fag break or a cup of tea or whatever, to stretch their legs, and they get them out, and as they get them out, guns are taken off by the Germans, covers from guns, and they just shoot them all dead. And it's just that moment in a film where it brings it home how brutal it was. Anyway, so that's that. Let's go on to the next film.
Cheerful. My next film has to be a bit of a fantasy film, this one. Well, I say a bit, totally. Willow.
Oh,
Willow.
have I seen it?
I don't think you have, to be
That's
honest.
with,
It's with Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis.
The, a gentleman with dwarfism.
Yes.
He actually, his break, he's one of my favourite actors too. His break came as, I think he was an Ewok in the Star Wars, original
yes,
Star Wars
that's right.
films
Yeah,
and stuff. And various other bits and bobs.
And it's
for
a
that.
fantasy film, isn't it?
This is a fantasy film where there's a village of small people, i.e. people with dwarfism, and they, oh, that's right, this baby gets washed, average-sized human baby comes down the river and lands up in their village, and a couple of the children pick it up. Warwick Davis's character is called Willow, so it's Willow's children actually find the baby, take him to the dad, and they have to get this baby back to its people. So it's about this journey and this epic adventure, and he makes friends with what's his name, Val Kilmer is another lead role in it.
Oh right, yeah.
Who plays a very gruff cad type character.
Val Kilmer played the Saint in a film that they made. He seemed to me to be the most inappropriate actor to be playing the Saint, I seem to remember, but that's a different film.
I can't remember if I've seen that one, but
Yeah.
I generally kind of liked Val Kilmer's films. I think I liked him most because of the Batman film he was in. I really liked.
okay.
I don't know. I fancied him at the time, I guess. But anyways, but Willow was way before that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, Warwick Davis looks so young in it when I watch it now. And apparently, there's a second movie coming out now.
Is it? Willow
I think
2?
it's a movie, or is it a series? I don't know. But yeah, from what I've seen of the trailers and stuff, it looks very woke.
Is it called Basket? Because you often make Willow into a basket, don't
Yeah.
you? Or
Anyway.
The Wicker Man, I suppose you could make.
But I love that film.
Right, now I've got a toss-up here between two films.
I'll go on to stick them both in.
Well, one was any of the earlier James Bond films,
Right.
being, again, large scale. But because we watched it the other day, one of my favourite films, it's slow, it's a spy film, and it's small scale, really, gritty and what have you. The Ipcress File. We watched that with
Another Michael Caine. Yeah.
Michael Caine. Not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, Michael Caine came and sat down with us and we watched it.
Yeah, we watched it with him. And he went, "My name's Harry Palmer." And it's a Len Dighton story. And I gather, I think Funeral in Berlin is a second one or another version with Harry Palmer or Michael Caine. Brilliant story. Again, some great actors in it. But for me, the score by Gene Barry, right at the beginning, because it was at a time when James Bond was a thing and spies was cool and sexy. Michael Caine took it the other way. He made him down to earth, wore glasses, short-sighted, but he was a great cook, and it just added a different sort of thing. And the interesting thing about that, although he's in the film, he sort of got off with a woman called Courtney, you didn't have any sex scenes.
No.
There were no kissing scenes or anything, but you knew what was going on. But
There was one kiss.
well, it might have been one kiss,
It
but
was.
not in the way that, say, Sean
No, it
Connery,
was just
Roger
a
Moore,
peck,
or it.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
They're parting.
Yeah, but and I quite like that. Without having to mess it up with all the
Yeah,
sex
complicate
bits.
it with romance.
So that's my last choice. What's your last one?
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, which one shall I go? Let's go. Maleficent. It's a more recent film. I can't remember when it was done.
Maleficent.
Maleficent. It's essentially, it's got Angelina Jolie in it, and it's based upon the witch or the bad fairy from Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, okay.
you
Again,
know, that
another
fairy
film.
tale.
It's interesting. I've not seen any of your films.
No, except Kingsman. You've seen that
Oh, I
one.
saw The Kingsman. I beg your pardon. I've not seen any of your films.
No. The one film of my choice that you have seen, Dirty Dancing.
Oh, yeah.
You watched it with me, didn't you?
Wait, is that on your list?
No, it's not. But anyways, so Maleficent. It's so it's from the perspective of the bad fairy who put the curse on Sleeping Beauty.
So that's another fantasy fairy tale.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you like those sort of films.
I do. I like the imagination like that.
But that's
Because the real world is so harsh and horrible, isn't it? Sometimes,
oh,
and
yes.
traumatic.
it's so harsh you could melt candles on wood burning fires.
Oh, don't. No, we did.
We did.
Oops.
So
So yes, I like it. And you know, I like delving into seeing the other side of the coin. You know,
Right.
Because I mean, the fairy tale is all Sleeping Beauty. She, you know, this bad thing happened to her. She
Yes.
was put under a sleeping spell, etc., etc.
so you get the story of the bad fairy, why she becomes bad. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or why she did what she did, and you know, and
Yeah.
explores all those things.
And is that quite recent film?
It is quite recent. I think there's a second one of that one out now, which I haven't seen. So, which I'd like to.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
So that's our 10 films, no particular order
Order or
or
anything.
whatever, but we just thought we'd share them because Christmas time is the time when people knock back and watch films. So we would like to know you don't have to give us 10 films, but you can if you like. What are your top films?
What are your favourite films? Do you like fantasy films? Do you like war films, historical or futuristic?
Bung them in the comments below. And
We love reading them. We're nosy like
we're
that.
nosy. Because you never know, there may be films that we haven't seen, which is very easy.
Exactly.
And we could go off and have a look at them. Mm-hmm. So that would be great. So we hope that you have a great Happy New Year, but we hope to have another video out before then, or around that time. But thank you for watching our little film list.
Yes, it's been fun.
And until next time.
Ciao for now.